Welcome ladies and gentlemen to today's installment of Majin Starcraft, and as you can see, again we are on Metalopolis and we're gonna have a Protoss versus Terran right here between ChiTaPrime, who is hoping to actually bring a victory to my channel, versus NEXON Terran. So yeah, you probably noticed that I've been casting a lot of games on Metalopolis. It's basically my favorite map because it rarely has a starting position where you can go for cheese. Well, probably except this one where you can actually go very nice air rush over the distance. Right here, so we could have void rays or banshees, but I don't know if that will be the case in this game, both players being highly competitive, and I doubt that either one would actually want to ruin such a high power game using any kind of shenanigans. So we basically have our right here a supply depot, and a pylon is already up for ChiTaPrime, who is chrono boosting a little probe advantage right there. And there is that barracks. Barracks is near the entrance. No wall in, because wall-ins help a lot less than they actually did in StarCraft 1. They are perfect against Zerg because hey, Zerglings will just run in there, but against Protoss I guess you can do without the wall in, unless you know there's a 2-gate. ChiTaPrime sending out his scout. Sadly he sends it out in the completely wrong direction. That means that the scout will actually reach Nexon at the last possible moment, simply because probably the scout is gonna go at this base first, and probably then it's actually gonna scout the Terran. Meanwhile, Nexon's scout is doing the exact same route, only opposite. So yeah, he'll see here that both scouts will be completely delayed by the absolute longest possible route. We also have a scouting pylon right here, or a proxy pylon. However, I don't know if this is the best position considering that they're really close. I suppose that the pylon was laid down hoping that this was the location, simply because hey, you could use this to warp in reinforcements a lot faster and a lot quicker. However, in this situation I don't know if this is the best. The pylon is nothing more than wasted resources because hey, so we do have a Marine out, so the Marine will probably not let this probe get any scouting done. There you go, the Marine shoots off the probe. Meanwhile, do we have any kind of early Zealot? Well, yes, there is an early Zealot on the way. Will it be out in time to stop the SCV? I do not know, and besides that, a Zealot rarely can stop an SCV. As you can see, not even getting one hit off on the SCV. Nexon just moving in here with the drilling machine, gonna scout everything, gonna see that it's a 2-gate cybernetics core build, so warp gate is on the way. There's nothing really to be worried about. Meanwhile, so Nexon is actually going for his expansion, very wisely getting out in Marauder to deal with any kind of early gateway pressure. Marauders being, as you know, so good against gateway units. No, it doesn't matter. Stalkers, Sentries, High Templar, Warp Zealot, Warp Zealots, yeah, Zealots. You know, they Marauders just go right through them. High Templar, well, High Templar will die pretty much from anything. They're only good against massive amount of units, and we do have something that you rarely see, a Reaper. Now the Reaper could be used to do some economical damage because it's still faster than anything, and the sentry force field is basically useless against a good old-fashioned Reaper. Now you rarely see Reapers because of the nerf that has been brought upon them. They no longer can have nitro boost because there is no factory, and as you can see, the nitro packs do require a factory. Meanwhile, we're gonna have the Reaper come in here and gonna die with a very nice positioning by the force field, and the Reaper couldn't get out of there, so the Zealot did get a couple of hits in. So now we have Marauders versus these gateway units. So yeah, ChiTaPrime was going for his expansion was going directly for the high yield. Sadly, it got scouted, so right now Nexon is aware that ChiTaPrime's expansion will bring a lot more income to the table, and it's gonna be a lot more hard. Yes, go grammar. I'm sorry, I have a splitting headache at the moment. It's gonna be a lot harder to deal with ChiTaPrime's reinforcing unit because he'll have so much resources and he'll be able to put so many gateways down and have so many units. I suppose that this, yeah, we do have a proxy pylon right here, warping in a couple of more units, a sentry and a zealot. Right now Nexon is actually has a few SCVs here to absorb the damage. Sadly that means that his income is, well, strangely enough, behind. Well, yeah, Terran Mule. However, the harvester count is fairly similar, and once this expansion kicks in, ChiTaPrime, oh, and that's why ChiTaPrime had transitioning probes. Meanwhile, let's get this fight on the way. A force field to separate the units, and here we go, doing a little bit of damage, laying down a pylon. This pylon is probably going to be used to try and absorb some damage and warping in units. Even though this pylon has lost a little bit of health, we have 4 stalkers here, 2 zealots and a sentry. Now the zealots won't be able to do that much because we do have 3 marauders here, and another zealot dies. ChiTaPrime needs to hold this ramp, needs to hold it, and here comes a zealot, and it's slowly, and it actually came into being with low health. Another 2 more zealots on the way. As I said, this is expansion kicked in, so we have a lot of units being produced here, and yeah, a lot of SCVs being pulled off the mineral line to try and absorb some damage. I don't know if this is the best maneuver. Nexon is completely back into a corner, so ChiTaPrime using a high yield expansion to try and take this out. Now using the high ground to take this proxy pylon, and once this pylon falls, reinforcing units will be just slightly delayed because we do have this pylon. The probe is no longer here, so there will be no reinforcing that pylon, a better placement, so to speak. But now we have, now sadly Nexon is still locked inside his base. A very nice force field separating the army, and there's a probe. Oh, the probe is still here doing a little bit of damage, laying down a pylon. Don't let the probe die. The probe is not dead, the probe is still not dead, and the force field just doing a massive amount of damage there, separating the army, and now all these SCVs are being pulled off. So far, economical damage to Nexon has been incredible. Let's look at the units lost tab. As you can see, Nexon is behind, well, a little bit. However, he's lost so many units, he's lost so many builders, and now ChiTaPrime is a little bit of overcommitting here, losing all those stalkers. Not necessarily a good idea. Bringing in 2 more zealots, and even 1 marauder with stim can actually do so much damage. Here comes another marauder. Will that marauder fall? No, the marauder does fall, and we have a stalker being warped in here, so that now the stalker is dead, and now these 2 zealots are in the mineral line doing a lot of economical damage. Nexon has been backed into a corner. ChiTaPrime dominating this game because of his economical advantage. Let's check out that income. As you can see, it's triple the size right now. The harvester count is double, so right now ChiTaPrime is in a commanding lead. Poor Nexon is completely being dominated. A couple of zealots still inside the mineral line, and coming in here with reinforcing units, 2 stalkers, another zealot being warped in. This pylon is doing so much damage because units are being warped in right inside the base. And probably this is the position, that is why this position was chosen, to try and warp in units here. Meanwhile, the gateways are on cooldown at the moment. However, 2 more gateways on the way. Economical ChiTaPrime does have a lot of resources now, banking a little bit of his resources to try and reinforce his army. And as you can see, we have another pylon right here, and a warp prism was brought in, probably to come here, and warp in the units. And we do have, oh, very nice, using the mount inside. Very nice tactic. So if you're wondering what ChiTaPrime is doing right here, he's actually loading the units from ground inside the warp prism and putting them down on the ground. So that was brilliant play coming in from the back, and Nexon was caught completely unaware of that ability. Let's check out the APM for these 2 guys. Nexon soaring and calling the GG. Nexon was soaring at a 272 average, while ChiTaPrime is 181. This is the perfect example of APM not being the decisive factor. People say that, oh my god, gigantic APM. It doesn't matter how many times you click, it's how efficiently you click. And ChiTaPrime just dominated that game completely, using the high yield expansion that wasn't delayed at all. And a very early expansion on the high yield. This is very interesting because on Metalopolis it's probably only one of the few maps you can actually get this expansion really early without fear of very high attack. So brilliant play by ChiTaPrime, defeating Nexon, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next episode.